Ladies, gamers, and gentlemen. See, I altered my greeting. Welcome to BelleNOiRtv. My name is BelleNOir, and you're watching Cast My Game Community Casts, where we cast your replays. Today, I am not alone here. I'm joined by one of the better Czech Protoss players and also a caster, Mr. Voktulka. Good evening, Mr. Voktulka. How you're doing?
Oh, it's great. I've been waiting for this for quite a long time, and I've finally gotten to casting something in English, so I hope it will be listenable too,
All right.
if that's a word.
I think it should be a word. So let's hope we will not disappoint the viewers. Quite a lot of them in the chat and in the channel. I'm actually really surprised, and we do have QueenE from My Insanity tuned in as well. We are of course going to be casting QueenE's replay at one point in time or another. So, just to give you a recap on what this show is about. You send me a replay, 1v1, master versus master at least, it has to be anywhere between 10 to 30 minutes, and we just make a random selection based on the matchups and what happened in the game roughly. So if you do send it to me, just title the email Cast My Game, send it to bellenoir@sesnam.cz, and include a short description so we don't have to watch the replay because it takes away from the genuinity of the cast, if that's even a word. So,
Yeah, I think it is. I have not seen these replays, neither have you, and I think it's gonna be exciting.
alright, so let's jump into the first one. It's gonna be JackO from CPLAY, a Protoss player, playing versus TrOn, a Terran player, and the map I think is Belshir Vestige.
Yeah. And it's a TVP matchup. The colors of the players suggest that this is not a ladder game, so both of the players are gonna be trying their best to win.
So, starting off here on Belshir Vestige, we see that TrOn, the green Terran player, spawned in the top right. Here we have him. Top left, yeah. Sometimes things get a little bit mixed up in my head. And in the bottom right, we do have CPLAY's JackO in blue, the Protoss player. So, you're a Protoss player yourself, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, that's true. And I've also been playing Terran a bit.
Oh, great! So you should be way more knowledgeable about the matchup we are seeing right now than me. So what do you think about the matchup on this particular map? Because it has some very interesting architectural features. The alternating lower and the high grounds throughout the middle, various attack pathways into the expansions. What's the biggest danger the biggest threat for a Protoss player from the Terran in the early stages of the game?
I think the early stages are quite okay for the Protoss. The problem comes when he tries to take a third base, which is quite far away from the first two bases, and the problem may come when the Terran splits his army up and tries to drop a lot and deny the third base with the other half of his army. At that point, Protoss can get significantly behind in supply and economy.
So basically, Protoss players have to be really careful if they want to be taking a third base. I have to say we do see quite a lot of Stargate plays, two base timings, maybe even two base all-in with Colossi on these maps, because precisely what you said, it is a little bit more difficult for Protoss players to transition into the later stages of the game. Now, as far as the composition choices from Protoss players. What do you think is better on this map? Going for that sort of like double forge charge lot storm build, or just preferring Colossus early on and then transitioning out of it into the Templar tech?
I think on this map it is good to get maybe a early blink with a couple of gates, try to pressure, and also it helps to defend the drops. And later on, I think Colossus with some force fields with Stalker Sentry play might be good for the choke points. They're easily force fieldable.
All right. So we do see that the Terran player opened up with a very fast gas here on 12. Usually this indicates that the Terran player wants to be going a Reaper opening, and we already see TrOn doing something very, very interesting. Instead of getting the Reaper straight up for scouting, because he has not scouted yet, he first added on that reactor onto the barracks, and now he's producing double Reapers. What do you think about this? I mean, doesn't it delay your other tech by a substantial amount, even if you do get the expansion reasonably fast?
This build order is really, really weird. I don't like it at all, because the Reaper's gonna be so delayed, and if the Protoss catches a hang with what's going on, he's gonna chrono out 2 Stalkers like JackO is just doing now, and he's gonna stop the Reaper harass dead without any losses caused.
Yeah, JackO did scout that reactor going down, so and that is precisely because TrOn did not even manage to bother himself with getting out a Marine first before queuing up those Reapers. So we have 2 Reapers out on the map. One of those discovers this probe that tries to put down a proxy pylon at the top left. The other Reaper is going to go ahead and scout the expansion timing. Is going to see that it is a very, very fast expansion. Going to get caught by this Stalker that is going to try to push the Reaper away. And oh wow, this is a nice job actually from JackO, getting rid of the Reaper and saving the proxy pylon by sending the second Stalker towards it. But there are already Marines on the way. Let's see what the transition is for TrOn. He does have a factory almost finishing up. Maybe we will see Hellions here in a bit.
The pylon's going down now, the Reaper's maybe gonna get killed, but no, it gets away in just the nick of time with last bits of health. Another proxy pylon by JackO, which is gonna get spotted immediately. The Marines are on their way to intercept, but I don't think that JackO can get this pylon up.
No, I don't think. I think it has to be a cancel. He does have 2 Stalkers though, and you know, TrOn does not have any effective way of pushing those Stalkers back, so they are going to try to poke forward. Oh, a little bit of a miss micro there by JackO, move commanding those Stalkers directly into the line of fire of the bunker. I don't think this is breakable, but I like the fact that JackO is trying to pressure his opponent, and he does see the Hellions coming out. What do you think should be the proper reaction in this circumstance? I mean, we have 0 sentries out for JackO. He does have 3 gateways, but no way he's going to catch those Hellions with the Stalkers, and he doesn't have even enough energy on the Mothership Core for an overcharge.
But he has enough units at home now. He force fields the main, and the Hellions have to retreat now. The pressure in the meantime has forced additional bunker first 2 Widow Mines, but other than that, no significant damage done. I think had TrOn focused the pylon when it was building, he could have forced a cancel on it, but instead he's having some troubles with defending now. But now that he has the Widow Mines, he's okay, and he's transitioning into some first medevacs.
Yeah, this of course forces a robo to be put down by JackO, and you know, since he does already have this this substantial amount of Stalkers out, it's exactly like you said. I think the wisest transition off of this for JackO would be to go into a Twilight Council, just get the robo facility for the observers. But I think wait a minute, is it going now? Yep, no, it's a forge. But on the flip side, I mean, he delayed his AoE tech by quite a lot, so I don't know if going Twilight Council at this timing is a wise move.
Yeah, but he has already produced a lot of Stalkers, which means the blink would be beneficial for them. But luckily for the Protoss player, the Terran stim is just now started, which means that no quick stim pushes will be there.
Yeah, the stim does take 170 seconds to complete, so it's roughly something around 3 minutes, and it's almost halfway done, so 1.5 minute remaining, which would mean the stim would complete around 11 minutes. That's 1.5 minutes later than is a usual timing with this build. Let's see at the harvester count. It's 41 probes versus 39 SCV, so both players having a comparable economy. Armor getting researched first from that forge, chrono boosted as much as possible while the robotic bay is finishing up. So I'm expecting Colossi production to start very, very shortly, and there we go. So far no blink, and JackO will have to defend potential drop play or aggression just with good unit positioning. And I also think that taking a third base is out of the question, at least for the foreseeable 3 to 4 minutes time.
Yeah, especially since he's adding 4 additional gateways, planning to go
Wow.
for that 2-base all-in with the Colossus and some upgrades. Here we have a drop somewhere on the way. I've seen TrOn loading up his units, but he has just moved to the watchtower now. So no drops just yet.
No drops just yet. A hallucinated Phoenix catching a glimpse of what is inside the Terran base. Actually got a full scout, so he did see those additional barracks being added on and those double NG bases as well. So he knows he should be either trying to go and kill the Terran right now, or take a third base and build a second forge with that Twilight Console.
There is an empty medevac just scouting the base of JackO right now, but there are stalkers walked in, so he doesn't see the Colossus Bay nor the forge.
You know what I call these? I call these the scare vacs.
Okay.
Because they're just, you know, they just fly in, they scare the Protoss player shitless, and he pulls back all his stalkers, or at least quite a lot of them, to deflect the drop, and then the medevac just flies out, gets a good piece of information.
Oh, the probe! Almost got the... Oh my god.
Almost got a kill on a heli, and one hit point remaining on that body. But still delaying the third base from the Protoss player. TrOn trying to establish his, so I think the timing is has already gone for JackO if he wanted to go for that 7-gate Colossus push. He's already a little bit too late, in my opinion.
He's waiting for the 1-1 upgrades, but at the same time, the pressure that he's gotten in the beginning now does him damage back, as his all-in isn't ready in time. And now the Terran is moving on the map, has some Vikings in his composition, sees the Protoss army approaching and sees the full composition. Now the proxy pylons being put down. JackO is actually floating a lot of minerals and gas. Let's see if he manages to spend them all.
Yeah, I would. I mean, if he starts mass warping gateway units off of those 7 gateways, he can lose those minerals quite quickly. Especially considered that he's going to be losing a lot of zealots if he tries to go for a frontal assault. So that, but you know, on the flip side, this has to work or do considerable amounts of damage. Very wisely, TrOn cancelled his third base, or at least floated it away to the safety of his natural base. Now JackO, he's cut probes. He's been cutting probes for a long time here, so he has to make this work. If this doesn't work, he'll be so far behind economically in the later stages of the game if TrOn survives.
The SCVs, and now we have the engagement. Mine goes off. SCVs are being force fielded. The Colossus are doing great damage. The Marines are having to be pulled back. But it looks like so far that the bunkers are holding up. But there's been significant damage to the SCV line, so far the all-in's doing damage.
So far it is. The army sizes for the both players actually favoring the Terran player. Vikings not killing even one Colossi. The 2 time warps and force fields are working greatly for JackO, but he lost all of his zealot line, which means there is no meat shield in between the stalkers and the Terran army. The Terran army is at 1-1 as well. Can JackO break through one more bunker? It does fall. The natural will probably have to be evacuated. TrOn going for one last stim, maybe. We are waiting for a warp-in from JackO. There it is, a huge warp-in of Stalkers designed to protect those Colossi from falling down. Not enough of Vikings to shoot them down quickly enough anyways. Another time warp, buying JackO more time to kill off this natural expansion. I think JackO done it.
I think it has been really a great mistake from TrOn not floating his command center into his main, because his army is not too bad and he's about to have 2 upgrades finished, so I think he's not out of this yet. He has a significant Viking count, now tries to harass the Colossi, but there's gonna be a problem with moving down the ramp.
Yeah. But on the flip side, it can be, I'm not saying it is in this particular circumstance, but it can be also problematic for the Protoss player to try busting up the ramp. Considering, you know, you're moving your Stalkers through a choke point, you cannot really get into a very good position to protect the Colossi from the Vikings. But the Colossi have 9 range, and they can start taking pot shots at the infantry below the Vikings. And note, the biggest thing, almost, well, I wouldn't say none, but very little medevacs here. Only 3 with this army. I don't think that's enough healing.
Yeah, that's not by any means enough healing. There's a quite nice force field, like 2 force fields, which cuts the army in half, but the Colossi are falling rapidly under the Viking fire, and the stimmed bio, which is at 2-2 compared to the 1-1 of JackO, is just shredding through the Zealots, and JackO has to retreat to the pylon and warp in more units, but the stimmed bio of TrOn is relentless at this point.
Yeah, it is, and we don't have charge here, so he cannot even use the Zealots to force the infantry back and save his Stalkers, so this is a full-on retreat. But during all of this, JackO put down his third base, and he does have a Twilight Council. He's starting to research charge and +2 armor straight away. I don't think he's going to be getting any more Colossi, since there is quite a significant amount of Vikings out still, 5 of them, and is TrOn producing more? No, he's not. He's playing this very smartly, you know. He knows he just killed off all of the Colossi, so he kind of expects the Protoss player not getting more Colossi, which is a smart move. And if we look at the army supply right now, it's 61 versus 62, so quite an even game still. Although I have to say TrOn is significantly behind in Econ, 33 SCVs to 47 probes, and only 2 bases compared to the Protoss 3. JackO still does have those 7 gateways. He does have the Templar archives completed. Warpkin first couple of HDs, and now can he get Storm out before the TrOn retaliates? I don't think he's got enough time.
No way. The third base of JackO has been quite late. Like, his all-in was doing damage, but he was not putting down the third base quick enough, and now that TrOn has scanned it and saw almost no probes, he's going for it because he knows that there cannot be Storm yet, because JackO was warping in so many Stalkers and Sentries and making Colossi, and the Storm is just now completing in like 30 seconds, but he's still reluctant towards going and attacking the Nexus, which is, I think, a smart choice, because there's a lot of units now.
There is a lot of units indeed, and quite a lot of useless Vikings in the air right now. But they are keeping tabs on the Protoss army, so TrOn knows exactly where the army is positioned. I have to say that the position for JackO, I'm liking it a lot. He positioned his army on the ramp between the natural and the third base, so really TrOn could not, unless he would split up his army, he could not push into the Protoss territory from either side. So that was good on JackO. Meanwhile, TrOn re-establishing his third base, morphing that into an orbital command. Let's see, the upgrades are 2-2 versus 2-1, and level 3 armor already on the way. Second fort being added on. I think JackO is just preparing to transition into a massive gateway army with Storms. Do we have a... Yes, we do. A Ghost Academy. Ghosts already rolling off the training lines.
Yeah, I think that it's really crucial that TrOn has added 2 more gases into a third base, because he stopped his upgrades for a while, and that's been what's been keeping him in the game after losing the third base. And if he doesn't capitalize on that, he's even in upgrades with Protoss, that he's in for some trouble.
Yeah, he is. He's not continuing his upgrades, just as you said, at least not for the time being, and well, Protoss player is going to hit +3 armor very shortly here, and once he does, it's going to be...
the Templar.
Yeah. And look at the number of Zealots out on the field. 38 Zealots? I mean, once that armor is complete, it's going to be nigh impossible to kill those. Templar are trying to get good Storms on the ramp, and JackO, well, he's not even going to wait for the upgrade and pushing in, but the EMP gets most of the High Templar. No Storms, or very little Storms available. One does go down, but misses entirely. Another EMP catches 2 additional High Templars. TrOn microing very well. JackO getting into a good position here, and needs to get those Archons to the front. Needs to reposition his army slightly, retreating through that choke point. Not the best of ideas. Tries to use force fields to slow down TrOn's army. TrOn hanging in there, and I think this was not a good engagement by JackO by a long shot.
Yeah, he was really indecisive about attacking in. He was just going back and forth between the third base and the choke point, and TrOn was kiting quite nicely. But I think he's not out of this yet. I think if he continues his upgrades and if he puts up a 4th command center, he's still in the game.
Yeah, I think it might actually work. Mothership Core being forgotten in the middle of the map and narrowly escaping the one Marine that was taking shots at it. Oh, wait a minute, maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe it will go down to the Vikings. Laying down 1 time warp before it does die. And we see JackO transitioning back into Colossi. There's only one Viking in the air, so very smart choice, taking a 4th base as well, continuing his upgrades. Only just now +3 attack for the infantry of the Terran started, but he is taking a 4th base, just as you mentioned, so this is still anybody's game, I think.
Yeah,
Although
both.
I do have to mention that JackO, 191 supply, TrOn, 161.
And supply blocked for like 2 years now. But the dreaded personal cloaking is on the way for the ghosts, and if he remakes some of his Vikings and scans the observer, there is no way for JackO in an open engagement to see where the ghosts are. They're just gonna EMP everything.
So right now TrOn is trying to make something happen, assaulting the 3rd base, or at least just poking towards it with a little group of infantry units. I like that JackO is always positioning his army at his newest expansions, therefore making sure that they never are under the threat of getting destroyed. And now he's pushing in with the Archons yet again. This army for TrOn is very, very, very small. Where are the EMPs? One has gone down onto the Archons. More EMPs blanketing the entirety of the Protoss army, but now the storms will wreak havoc upon the infantry. There we go, landing one good storm, forcing TrOn to micro. Oh my god, he walked right smack dab into the middle of that one. TrOn's army reeling from those spells.
This is weird. JackO is playing only on like 54 probes, which is really low amount compared to what Protoss are usually used to playing on.
And he's still doing quite well, right?
Yeah, but he's over making Templar, I think. One good EMP like the one that we see now, and bad engagement in choke. The only saving grace is that bio of TrOn is overstimmed. Now come the SCVs, and I think JackO is gonna push through.
Yeah, there's just not enough Vikings to bring down those Colossi fast enough, and still the Archons are buffering for the remaining Stalkers, and right now, well, there is almost no army to speak of for TrOn, and he leaves the game. Anybody speaks German to translate this? I think he's saying that Protoss takes no skill to play, but I can be mistaken.
Yeah, something along those lines, or that he is playing with no skill, something like that.
So I think it came down to not letting the Protoss army die eventually, and being able to recognize if the Terran is still producing Vikings or just producing ghosts, and he just completely switched it around. You know, he did get EMP'd quite heavily in that last engagement there, but there was just no answer to the Colossi, and that allowed them to shoot from the back, and that just killed the bio before the Templars went down. I mean the Archons.
Despite the nice EMPs, there was just not a lot that Terran could have done. His upgrades were behind because he cut them for so long.
So, alright, so that was game number 1. Once again, this is Cast My Game. You are watching BelleNOiRtv. If you have replays, 1v1 Master versus Master, 10 to 30 minutes approximately, and you want us to cast them, just send it to bellenoir@cesnam.cz, title the email Cast My Game, and include a short description. Coming up, we should be having ourselves a... is it going to be a PvP, I think? Yep, a PvP Temnotal versus Fazer on Whirlwind. So, let's take a look at this one. And I would like to thank everybody for watching. We have 23 awesome people, ladies, gentlemen, and gamers in the chat.
Or combined.
Or combined, yeah. I would like to see that one combined. Like, I have a pretty weird imagination, like, don't get me even started.
I wouldn't go into that. It could get dangerous.
Yeah, it could.
Okay.
So, let's see. Whirlwind PvP. In the top we have the red Protoss top left. In the red colors is going to be Fazer.
Yeah, us Protoss from Slovakia that used to play Team Fortress. He was actually on a team with me a while back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? Alright, his opponent is going to be the blue Protoss Temnotal. He's from the We Wanna Win clan. That's a clan from Czech Republic. And isn't it your teammate actually? Or am I mistaken?
Nope.
He's not. Wait a minute.
He's not.
I know there were. Oh, yeah, true. I sometimes mistake the two teams, We Wanna Win Clan and Combat Wombats, just because they have a W in the name. So it kind of
Oh
makes
yeah.
my brain
And-
go
and
haywire.
C as well.
And a C, yeah.
There's
So,
both.
what do you think about PvP on Whirlwind? I mean, it's a very large map, and in PvP you usually want to get a good scout, either with either through pressuring with your units or getting a good probe scout. And this is a 4 spawn point map, so I mean, what happens if you find your opponent, you happen to find your opponent's position on the last possible scout? It must impact the PvP play greatly, doesn't it?
Speaking of the devil, Temnotal is sending his probe in the wrong angle, which means when he finds Fazer, there's maybe gonna be a Zealot dart or something. I think Temnotal now has to play really safe, get the second gas, I think, or he can go for the expansion build. If he doesn't take the second gas, I think he's gonna go for the expansion build.
Yeah, this is mostly what the Protosses and Whirlwind have been doing, trying to expand quite fast. But again, I mean, I have seen games, for example, Minigun versus State, where Minigun played State on Whirlwind, and State built his buildings just like Fazer is doing right now, in the back, and the probe came into the base, but did not go far enough to spot the Nexus. It was literally like 1 millimeter away from spotting the Nexus. And it was the first scouting position Minigun scouted, and he thought that his opponent is not there. Now, ordinarily you want to be fast expanding on the map, but what Minigun actually ended up doing, since he did not scout his opponent on first and second position, he played extremely safe and fell behind in the econ game very rapidly thanks to that.
That's really something that neither of the players wants to be doing now. I think both players going for the two gases. Let's see which tech choice are they gonna be making.
I think, Fazer not scouting yet, not opting to scout. I think he's going to be going for an... Is he actually going for an expansion? No, he's not. But I think he'll be
Stargate.
going for a Stargate or DT play. Yeah, Stargate going down. Because, it does make sense. You're not scouting, so you have to have some form of scouting incorporated into your play. Stargate is a very good choice here on this map because Stargate units are fast, the map is big, and he's going to be able to scout his opponent fairly quickly. And he gets lucky with this probe. He does scout the location first.
Yeah, but the probe's gonna get taken out. The only thing that Fazer's gonna be knowing is that there's no 1-gate Nexus going up and that the chrono boost on Cybercore is not there, which means it's not gonna be any 3-gate pressure. It's gonna be 3-gate blink from Temnotal, who is also sending a mothership core into the main of Fazer, and he's gonna spot the additional 2 gateways and with some luck the Stargate, which means that in the nick of time the mothership core is gonna get the recall out if it doesn't want to die.
Yeah, we have a Phoenix coming out instead of an Oracle, so Fazer playing it really safe. Opening up with a Phoenix, of course, is a better, is a very smart move because in the event that your opponent went Stargate as well and he decides to open up with an Oracle, you already have a perfect defense versus that Oracle. The Phoenix is going to get deterred here from moving forward by the two Stalkers. Fazer retreating the remainder of his Gateway army back home. Temnotal about ready to put down the proxy pile on the blink is halfway
He already
down.
has one. He already has one. And
Oh
it's
yeah,
on
in the top.
Yeah, it's on the top center, I think, and he's putting additional one down next to the natural base of Fazer.
Now Fazer, did he get a scout off? No, he didn't, but he has to assume that this can, since he did not see any Stargate units, this can either be only Blink or DT play, so he's getting down the Robo facility. Probably will be getting Immortals out of there as fast as possible. He already can if he suspects DT play, which already would have been hitting him by now. He can get detection optionally from the Stargate in the form of an Oracle. And Immortals are going to be instrumental in defending Blink plays here.
This is weird. Temnotal's not attacking, he's
Yeah.
actually retreating back, and Fazer takes his Nexus. Luckily for him, Temnotal has pulled back. Another thing I don't like about Fazer's play is that he continues to build Phoenixes while he expects Blink or DTs, because Void Rays are just so good versus those Blink Stalkers.
Yeah, they are. I mean, it depends on how many Void Rays exactly you have. I mean, if you have like 2 or 3, might not be the best choice to combat Blink Stalkers with them. But when you have like 6, now that's the point where the Void Rays become really, really strong, Blink or not, and the Stalkers fall like flies. Both
It,
players taking expansions now. I
it's
wonder. Yeah.
sorry, it's been really popular for going with the one Robo, one Stargate opening,
No.
and just starting to build up the count of Void Rays and Immortals early on. So I wonder if it's what Fazer's gonna be doing now.
Yeah, he did start the Immortal production. Now both players do have their expansions nearly finished. Temnotal having his Stalkers in the main on patrol, getting a Dark Shrine as well. Now this can be scouted by the Phoenixes. Temnotal does have the units in position to prevent that scouting. Phoenix is trying to go in yet again, and they still have not seen the Dark Shrine. But how useful is it going to be with the Robo facility already up for Fazer? It is true that he's been getting exclusively Immortals out of that. We have 0 observers out for him at this point in time. He's just trying to use the Phoenixes as much as possible to pick off any probes. So far he only managed to kill 1 unit, and that was not even a. Was that even a probe? Yeah, it was a probe.
There is a scouting Phoenix on the top right. It hasn't spotted any of the pylons yet, but we really like this play. We're getting rid of those pylons since Temnotal tried to be aggressive early on.
Yep. And the Dark Shrine is finishing up. There we have the 3 DTs warping in next to the closest pylon to his opponent's base. Does Fazer realize? Does he notice? Does he put down the force field on the ramp? 1 DT starts slashing away at the... 2 DTs actually start slashing away at the probes in their natural base, killing quite a lot. The force field just in the nick of time, preventing that DT from going up, but... How long can this last? He has to chrono boost out an observer, still 5 seconds away, but it is going to be up by the time the force field dissipates. And now he tries to lock in the DT in place, successfully gets rid of that one, but the other ones, one accruing 5 kills, the other one 4 kills. Quite a successful attack by Temnotal, killing 12 probes altogether.
I'm really confused as to why Fazer has not made an observer, because he has seen no tech besides Blink till like 9 or 10 minute mark on 2 bases, and he doesn't assume that it can be DT since the Blink path is already open.
That is true. I mean, when you see a lot of Stalkers, you definitely need to get out 2 Immortals and an Observer, depending on if you suspect quick DTs or if you suspect slower DTs, like a later game transition. Now, here's the thing. Now, the tech paths for both of the players are diverging quite rapidly. Temnotal going for charge probably will be getting Archons as well, with oh, scratch that. He's not going to be going for forges. He's trying to go for a 2-base, sort of like a very strong push. Look at the amount of gateways he's got. While Fazer, he's trying to go into Colossi, adding on a Robo Bay and a second Robo. Now I think this might backfire actually for Fazer if Temnotal is able to overwhelm his defending forces with a lot of Zealots and Archons. He can actually break his natural before the
massive warping of 7 DTs. He's gonna make those into Archons, I think. Or I wouldn't even be surprised if this is the kind of situation where you just go in with the DTs as combat units.
Oh, that is true. As long as you can get rid of the detection of your opponent, it might work. But no, he's morphing those into Archons, warping in 1 more DT to morph those ones as well. Maybe, you know, sending them out as they are, invisible and naked. And he is going to try to go for a frontal boss here. Will this be successful? He's got a tremendous amounts of Archons, 8 gates to back this up, and
Fazer
blink on the
aware.
Stalkers.
Fazer is aware. He's making a semi-wall and out of his gateways that he's adding on. But his army isn't too well equipped for dealing with massive amounts of Archons. Since the wall isn't complete, the force field's just gonna get hammered down by the Archons.
Yeah, that is true, and the Archons are in a perfect position to do so, but at the same time they are in a choke. They need to move a little bit closer to those to those Colossi. An aggressive blink forward picks off the Colossi, but there's still 4 Immortals remaining. Can Temnotal kill those Immortals before the rest of his army dissipates? He's getting a third base behind this. 2 additional Colossi being produced, and Fazer holds.
I think Temnotal should have not retreated before the time warp disappeared, because he's lost like 1 or 2 Archons just by retreating out of the combat, and there's only been like 3 Immortals left with 1 Stalker and like 2 Zealots. I think had he pushed further into the base of Fazer, he could have broken through.
I think he could have. It is going to be very, very difficult, or at least more difficult right now with 2 additional Colossi there and not a lot of Blink Stalkers to pick them off.
Look in the main base of Temnotal.
Oh my god, 3 Stargates as a transition. Meanwhile, the Phoenixes are doing work, doing tremendous amounts of damage at the natural base of Temnotal, picking off a lot of probes, so the worker kill count has been equalized as of now, and that forces Temnotal's very, very small army to retreat back. Temnotal will not be producing any units for quite a long time right now, and he'll be trying to get maybe Tempests out, but it looks like it's gonna be Void Rays instead of Tempests. After all, getting Tempests might be a good idea versus Colossi. If you get 5 or 6 Tempests, you can just one-shot them out of the sky, but it takes a very long time to get those out, so it's gonna be 3 Void Rays.
3 Void Rays at a time, at the same time adding those 2 Forges for the 1/1 upgrades, which is gonna help his Gateway army significantly versus Fazer's 0/0 units without any Forges, but he's now just finished his and is adding his own upgrades.
Yeah, just now queuing those up, 1-1. Now, Temnotal is going to have a slight advantage in upgrades compared to his opponent. Fazer getting rid of all the proxy pylons out on the map. Let's see how the economy is looking like, though. 58 probes for Temnotal, only 45 for Fazer. Fazer not in a really good position. And I think he may start falling behind in supply more and more and more as the game goes on. Now, the most important thing, is he aware of the triple Stargate that was that just gone down 2 minutes ago? No, he's not. So he might be underprepared for this. Usually when you see this transition, you stop Colossi production almost at all and just switch back into Immortals and get a lot of Stalkers. Get Storm out. Storm is really, really good versus Void Rays if you can get good Storms off.
Fazer stopped his Colossus production for a little bit, and now he's going into Immortals after queuing up like 3 Observers to have some map control.
His Phoenixes are in the main of Temnotal, so he does see those Forges. Temnotal activating the Photon Overcharge on his main Nexus to drive those Phoenixes away. I don't know if he knows if his opponent... Oh, he has seen one of those Stargates, but did not see the 2 additional ones.
But he
sees the Void Rays. Yeah. He sees the Void Rays.
Temnotal even adding his Fleet Beacon up, and I think he should be starting with some air upgrades actually. If he plans on doing this heavy kind of air play, he should get some upgrades.
He should try to get some at least, because I mean the Void Ray count is climbing up and is starting to look very, very dangerous. 7 Void Rays already, and 3 at a time being produced. The main base mined out at this point for both of the players. And well, Temnotal, if he gets away with this, it's gonna be he has a timing here to exploit potentially, because Temple Archives just now finished. The storm is not going to be down for another 60 seconds or so. So I don't know if Temnotal pushes out now before storm is finished. He might actually be able to kill Fazer outright, and he does have another proxy pylon at 1 o'clock base here.
Yeah, another advantage of it is that he's getting so far ahead in upgrades. Fazer actually cut his upgrades for a while to get something up. I don't know what, maybe the Blink and the Storm tech, but his 2 upgrades are just now starting, only the weapons now queued up.
Wow, carriers are being produced. I thought it's gonna be Tempest, but no, it's gonna be carriers. Temnotal is he just trolling his opponent at this point?
Yeah, I think maybe he is. But he actually, I've seen some of his PvPs before. I don't know against who it was, but he was actually producing carriers as well in that game, and he was looking so far behind, but he actually won with the carries in the end.
Hmm. Now Fazer is adding 2 additional Stargates of his own, so the Stargate production capabilities are going to be exactly even. Storm does finish up for Fazer, so any kind of engagement for Temnotal is going to be problematic from this point on. If those Void Rays get caught in the Stormage, they might actually die before doing critical amounts of damage to the Stalkers and Colossi of his opponent. But Fazer, he's actually both of these players. Temnotal is splitting his army up a little bit, but Fazer has all of his army bunched up greatly.
Except for these 3 Hero Phoenix, which have
Yeah.
been taken out just a minute ago. Now there's a huge run by of Zealots and some DTs trying to target fire the Nexus. Fazer responds quite quickly, but the Nexus might go down. Oh, it's gonna go down. Yeah. 100%.
Oh yeah, it is. The DT's doing too much work there. Observer not being in range of the DTs, the Nexus falls, and this is a huge blow to Fazer, who is back down to 1 mining base only, while Temnotal already has a 4th Nexus up. He's mining off 3 bases. He probably, once he maxes out, he'll be getting a 5th base as well as he pushes out. He's ahead in upgrades, he's ahead in economy, and he's got the better composition compared to his opponent right now. Is this going to trigger an all-in move from Fazer? It looks like he might be thinking about it. He might be trying to go for an attack, or maybe he's just looking for proxy pylons with the entirety of his army. Oh my god.
Yeah, I think that might be a little bit of an overkill since pylons can defend themselves. Even 6 Templar Siege with 2 Storms are going there. Gets rid of one of those proxy pylons, but there's so many more on the map. I think Temnotal was just looking for some hidden bases and has decided to put down some pylons for map control.
Now, he does have his army in a really weird angle here, Fazer, that is. He's chasing down 2 Zealots. And Temnotal, well, he's still hanging back. He just wants to get the critical amount of air units out. He does have 6 carriers here and 10 Void Rays. What are the air upgrades looking like? He doesn't have any, in fact, whereas Fazer does have at least +1 attack. Now, Temnotal, let me see, what does he have on the ground? Only 3 Archons and 1 Zealot. So he basically traded all of his ground army units to get these carriers up.
Yeah.
Is it gonna win him the game though? Carrier Void Ray army is really slow.
I think if Fazer doesn't outmaneuver him significantly, any engagement's gonna be won by the air army of Temnotal. But now we have a counterattack of Fazer on the 4th base of Temnotal, surely target firing the Nexus down before Temnotal can reposition his slow army.
Oh, but Temnotal, look at this. He's going from behind. He doesn't want this army to escape. If he catches this army, he might actually... Oh, this is a very good position for Temnotal above the cliff there. Void Ray is not being able to be targeted by the Stalkers or the Archons or the Storms, pursuing the ground army, the ground forces of Fazer. Void Rays are greatly damaged at this point, but look at Temnotal constantly trying to position the Void Rays to chase ahead of his opponent's army. Do we have any remaining Storms? Yes, we do. He might kill off the Void Rays, but the carriers... How is he going to get rid of the carriers?
There is no AA left. I think, like, if the carriers can get to the other side of the map before Fazer gonna boost some significant Void Ray count of his 3 Stargates, I think this is gonna be game. Both players are at 1-1 air upgrades shortly.
Oh my god.
Just finishing his
the top
armor.
base. The top base. Is it gonna go down yet again? Fazer does have 1 Archon there, but the Archon only sees the Zealot. And there are also DTs. Is Temnotal going to get this Nexus for the 2nd time? That could be the winning move here, but no, the Nexus stays up with 350 hit points. Another group of Zealots do make it into the main base of Fazer, though, while a frontal assault is being unleashed upon the Void Rays of Fazer. Oh, this is going heavily in favor of Temnotal here with the carriers. I mean, with this number of carriers, it's almost like an AoE spell.
Oh yeah.
And he says, "Oh my god."
He's, I think, a bit mad that he's lost the carries.
Yeah, it's like when you lose to carriers in a PvP, you just gotta be kicking yourself, like, you know, like you're staring at the screen. You're like,
Yeah.
how could this happen? How could this happen?
He's made a little mistake in the final engagements where his void rays for a little bit were not charged, and
Yeah.
he also for a little bit was shooting their interceptors after killing the first carry, which
Yeah,
just cost him.
yeah, that's. I think that's actually the biggest positive of the carriers, that it messes with the AI, the targeting AI of the opponent's army so much that unless he focus fires the carriers, he's never going to be effective with his anti-air units, because they're going to be shooting at the interceptors because they are closer to them. So yeah, that's a very valid point, and it makes it so that whenever you have, actually, I have seen carriers being implemented when you try to go SkyToss in a PvZ. You just get 2 or 4 carriers just for the purpose of messing with the AI
Oh yeah.
of the Hydras, and that allows the Void Rays to stay alive for a longer amount of time. It's a really clever move.
Also, the interceptors take a long time to go back to the mothership or the carrier, that is, and that means they can get additional shots off. For example, if the Zerg or the Protoss opponent retreats, they can just finish off some units that are in the back. Also, I think Temnotal has done a really great thing in his game, which when he was ahead, he was not rushing to max with bad gateway units. He was taking his time, building up strong force of good units. He was not needing to like max out instantly. He was just taking his time to max out on units that are actually good.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know what is your opinion of Temnotal, but I think he's a smart player.
He might be. I haven't seen enough games of him to tell, but his play on this map has been quite good. Also, the harassment, like he's been using the gateways and additional income in the meantime to hold his opponent back from not counterattacking, which has allowed him to build up the massive air force.
True. All right, so let's go into the final game today. It's going to be Weiman versus My Insanity's QueenE. I think we have both of them in the chat as well. So even Pewee dude watching. Hello there, Pewee. Pewee is a Welsh caster from Britain. So let's take a look at this. Now, for those who don't know, Weiman, he's a Terran player. QueenE from Team My Insanity is a Protoss player. Both of them are masters, but Weiman has not played for a long time, and he thought his MMR was really, really low, and just out of joke, while watching QueenE stream, he decides to stream snipe her, right? He queues up a game exactly when QueenE does. He did not really expect for the snipe to be successful, because he thought their MMRs are really far apart. But as you can see from the in-game chat, it did end up happening. So here is a ladder game between Weiman spawning in the bottom right location in the red colors as Terran, and My Insanity's QueenE, the blue Protoss, in the bottom left.
I think QueenE is a bit offended that Lady Luck has decided to put Weiman into the game with her.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they actually bantered on Twitter that I think it was me that suggested a best of 5 between them to get revenge on each other. Mainly QueenE getting revenge on Weiman. The date has not been set yet, but as soon as we set the date, dear viewers, I'm going to be posting it on my Twitter and my Facebook, and we'll be broadcasting the best of 5 between Weiman and QueenE on this channel. So you have a lot to look forward to. Weiman and QueenE both have been attending the DreamHack recently in Jönköping in Sweden.
No, I'm not sure of one thing. I think QueenE has maybe put down a 12 gateway. I'm not sure though. From the timing, it seems like it might be it.
Yeah, it does look like it's a little bit sooner.
I think that's
actually I don't think it's a 12 gate. I think it's a 13 gate. I don't know. Let me see. It's finishing up at no. It has to be a 13 gate.
I am not sure. But in case if it is a 12 gate, I suggest not doing a 12 gate on this map.
Actually, QueenE, if you are in the chat, do you remember if it was a 13 gate or a... Yeah, QueenE saying that it's a standard 13 gate.
Okay.
See? I was
I'm
right.
sorry. I am sorry. Okay, we have a Reaper coming up from Weiman, and a second depot as well. So,
Oh, cancels the second depot.
yeah,
Well,
makes second Reaper instead, and he's gonna be going for the fast command center.
Yep. So the Reaper is going in the correct direction, though, and it is going to scout QueenE's soon-to-be-put-down Nexus. There we go. QueenE playing really greedy.
But the Nexus has actually been put down a second before you looked in there, I think, because it's been cancelled.
Oh wow,
put down
really?
Again. Yeah.
Wow. So that's a 75 mineral loss for QueenE there.
100 actually.
100, yeah, that's true. So not the best of starts, and QueenE playing really greedy here. Just getting one gas, expanding straight away, getting the mothership core, delaying the gateway tech, favoring the Stalker instead, just to be able to defend versus any kind of Reaper pressure that we are seeing right now. Weiman continuing on with a fast expand of his own, getting a reactor onto the barracks and a factory, so we might be seeing maybe a Marine Widow mine play here, maybe Hellions. There's a lot of possibilities here for Weiman so far, because all those units only cost minerals and 0 gas.
And
Well, apart
Reaper,
from mines.
And the Reaper finally gets taken out, and now we're gonna see the deck choice from QueenE, who's gonna put down a Robo, and I think that's gonna be followed by at least one additional gateway, since being only on one gate, it's something only Sage does.
Yeah, Sage is really greedy with his builds, but you know, Sage has the mechanics and the game knowledge to pull something like this off. But it does hurt him sometimes. It does cause him to lose games from time to time. You know, he tries to go for something really fancy, and then he loses on account of not having enough units out.
So far from Weiman, we have the command center now moving to the natural expansion, and we have the first medevac along with 2 Widow mines, surely followed by a third one, and I think that's gonna be the standard Widow mine drop, maybe complemented with some Marines.
Oh, QueenE does see the bunker. If she was paying attention enough, she might have seen the burrowed Widow mine there near the bunker as well. So she knows they are in play.
Really? QueenE is doing the Sage builds.
Oh my god, yeah, 1 gateway double forge, straight into upgrades. Oh my goodness.
Adding up cannons in her base so the Widowmans can be spotted, but it's gonna come down to whether she pulls the probes in time, because the Widowman can burrow in time and one of them gets to shoot its load, however bad that sounds.
Wow. Okay, is this gonna actually... Oh, the cannons finish up just in time. QueenE with the Imba timing. Medevac boosting it, but won't be able to do almost anything. Look at this, QueenE pulling the drones, the probes even in the correct direction. Will she get this Medevac? One more hit does not come onto the Medevac, but there's another cannon here. Oh, the Medevac falls. Weiman so unlucky with this, not even getting that Medevac out. And not getting... Look at this! Despite everything, Weiman only killed 1 probe so far, and QueenE's, she'll have a very strong late game. I mean, she's so far ahead in upgrades, and her economy has been untouched so far.
I think Weiman, when he was trying to micro his medevac, he was forgetting to put the CVs on gas, which has cost him now that he cannot queue up his combat shields instantly. He only is producing stim. He has enough minerals for putting on a 3rd CC, which is I think what he should do on this map.
Yeah. He already has 3 barracks, and he knows that QueenE is going for a very greedy build. So, you know, she's not gonna be aggressive because she just does not have the capacity. She doesn't have enough production nor enough standing army so far. So actually getting the command center and then adding on additional production facilities for Weiman might be the better choice here. Also of note is the fact that Weiman is forgetting the combat shields entirely, and due to the stim timing, you know, unless you have that stim, at this stage of the game, it's not really wise for the Terran player to move out, because your army is going to be very vulnerable. That's a one thing. And a second thing is you won't be able to do much damage with it, even with enough units, just because of not having that stim.
Yeah. Weiman is actually floating so much money, now deciding to put down the command center, or rather cancels it and puts down double upgrades and 2 more racks instead. QueenE has cut probes on 44, adding additional gateways and going to Templar from here, also adding charge to her composition, going for the 2-2 upgrades. And she's setting up for the long game nicely, but I think Weiman is not letting that happen as long as he has say in it, because he's now moving down on the map with his medevacs.
Oh my god, 35 seconds until stim completes. And this is approximately okay. So it's 50 seconds until charge, 30 seconds until stim. Weiman trying to drop 1 Marauder and 2 Marines into the main base of QueenE, scans the natural base, sees that there is only 1 sentry. Charge is not completed yet, but there is photon overcharge available. Instantly goes down. The drop in the main bay unloads, not doing tremendous amounts of damage so far. Weiman's stim finishes, but he gets force fielded out. The Zealot's doing a number on his Marines. Weiman not being as cost efficient here at the natural as he might have wished. At the same time, is he going to get the cybernetic score in the main base?
Both players floating quite a lot of money. Actually, I think that the drop should pull back now.
Ooh.
Okay.
It's going to survive. It's going to survive. Weiman not re-engaging at the natural base of QueenE. Even if he were, she did pull back those units at or in time to deal with that. Weiman does have the 3rd command center down, so he should be floating that over, I think, and transforming it into an orbital command. Is he continuing his upgrades? Yes, he is.
Yeah, Weiman is, I think, in a bit better position, because in the early game he was actually paying attention to his SCV production more than QueenE was to her probe production, and he was ahead almost all the time in the SCV count, which should not happen, and his income has been better, which has allowed him to get the 3rd base faster than QueenE has it, and also he is getting significantly ahead in the food count.
Yeah. So the 3rd base is up for Weiman. I'm a little bit surprised he's not dropping excessive amounts of mules on it straight away. Maybe he doesn't have the energy currently. Yep. Doesn't have currently energy to do that. So he's been using his energy very efficiently. Look at the income, 2.2k minerals a minute for the Terran player. QueenE quite a ways behind in the econ, not even replenishing her probe count, still staying on 47, +3 queued up though in the forges and under constant chrono boost, or most of the time. Does have a proxy pylon building at the top of the map at 3 o'clock as well. Weiman trying to go for another shove, but the storm is completed. Oh, the storm goes down, baby!
Very nice side storms and feedbacks on the medevacs, I think. Yeah, those medevacs have been damaged significantly, and the bio has been ravaged by the side storms basically, and I think QueenE, if she holds for a bit longer and she finishes her 3 free upgrades going for the Colossus deck now as well, she will be set up for the late game better than Weiman is.
Yeah, but she's still only on 47 probes. She hasn't produced any probes whatsoever for the past 5 minutes.
Here come the Zealots.
Here come the Zealots indeed. We have them in the 3rd base, and they are trying to kill a couple of workers. Only get 1 though before taken out by the Terran army. But look at this. Did you see how long it took that army to finish off those Zealots? They did have +3 armor by the time the army was defending. A Warpism is trying to make its way into either the natural base or the main base of the Terran player.
Oh wow.
We may
QueenE even going for the double robo wants to build up the Colossus count quite quickly, because she now is only on Zealots with some Archons, 1 Sentry which is for the Guardian Shield, and a couple Templar. I think she needs to get the Colossus count up quickly.
And finally, she's building more probes. I mean, she's catching up quickly with that 3 Nexus production. Once she's saturated, she will probably take a 4th base. And with that Warpism, she might actually start to harass the Terran player quite a lot. 2 DTs and 2 Zealots being worked in at the natural. Scan goes down, takes them out. No significant damage being done, so Weiman very on top of things, defending his third base at the same time. I have to say, very good job by Weiman. He might actually take out this DT with SCVs, but no, not gonna happen. The Marine's gonna get the kill. Hero Marine right there. And look at this. This has been such a weird game. Like, despite all that has happened, only one probe kill and 2 SCV kills, and that's it.
With the attempts for harass, I'm really surprised neither player has taken as much damage. But where are the SCVs from the natural Weiman? He's actually forgetting his unit somewhere. Where are the SCVs?
They're heading towards the 3 o'clock expansion, which is a command center that's just now landing there, and he's building a bunch of structures.
This is like Weiman. Yeah, he's definitely a bit rusty because he's been producing Marines out of 2 of his barracks, just staying in the main without any rally point. He has 4 Marines forgotten under natural, maybe, which have been there for quite a long time. Here I found the SCVs. Look at the gas guys are on natural.
Oh my god! 22 SCVs mining from 1 refinery. You gotta be kidding me. I thought he transferred all of them from the natural, which would have been a weird choice, but this is even more funny.
An engagement, nice EMPs. The ghosts are cloaked, no observer in sight, and QueenE has to retreat. The stimmed bio is catching up quickly because the fat Archon's blocking the Zealots from retreating.
But here comes the Colossus transition, and I don't think Weiman has a single Viking out. No, he doesn't. It's all Marauders, Marines, 11 Ghosts. Ghosts are going to help quite a lot. And remember, QueenE does have to survive until she gets a couple more Colossi. Nice one going down with the Templars there.
The buffer is gone. The Colossus are going down really quickly. The cloaked Ghost even killing one of those maybe.
But there's no army on the ground for Weiman anymore.
Oh, he just has the Vikings or the Medivacs rather left. He takes out one of the Colossi, but he now has to pull back, I think. There is meanwhile a counterattack on the third base of Weiman, doing some damage, taking out a couple depots, the barracks, something else maybe, but now it gets cleaned up by some cloaked Ghosts. Still the fourth base of Weiman doesn't land because of the 2 cloaked DTs that just sitting there and not letting the command center land.
There we go, finally landing down. QueenE. Well, this is a battle for the 4th base. Whoever can secure a 4th base easy, like really secure it without the fear of it going down, is probably going to get ahead in this game at this point. QueenE doing a very good job, constantly denying that one, and she is trying to take her 4th base at the same time. And you know, Weiman, is he gonna scan that? I mean, QueenE, she's forcing Weiman to waste scans just to stay safe versus those DTs. QueenE has the map control.
There's one thing that's really dangerous for the Terran player, and that is that he's still not making any Vikings whatsoever. He's producing more Ghosts, which are terrible against Colossi, and
he forgot his level 3 armor upgrade, by the way.
Oh yeah, and his 22 SCVs, which are cheating his contract.
Oh yeah, they should be fired. The 4th base does fall for the Terran player. QueenE doesn't have the Mothership Core here, but a beautiful Side Storm on top of the ram, preventing the infantry from moving forward, allowing QueenE a safe retreat back to the warp-in pylons, so she can start warping in masses and masses of Zealots in case Weiman decides to press the issue and go after her. And you know, her 4th base is quite secure.
Oh yeah, it is. And she's holding the Terran army back with her charge lots for Colossi, numerous Side Storms available as well. And I think Weiman has finally run out of his bank that he's been floating for most of the game. Now he's only having 2,200 minerals, or gas rather, from those SCVs that's been mining the gas from one geyser.
Oh my god, but these SCVs, Jesus Christ. It's like what, almost 1,000 minerals a minute that Weiman has been losing for the past 5 minutes or so?
Oh yeah, and on the 3rd base he's not mining particularly well as well. He's having only 9 SCVs mine out of those 8
mineral patches, yeah. So another DT harassment at the 4th base, while at the same time QueenE is assaulting the 3rd. again using the Psy Storms to prevent the army from moving up the ramp. Multiple Psy Storms landing, even killing a majority of the ghosts. The third base is denied, and QueenE still does have one Psy Storm left, but that Templar does end up falling before it fires. But there is still quite enough of Colossi remaining, no answer to them. The Archon comes in to save those Colossi, block the way for the infantry, and there's the GG well played by Weiman as his fourth base was about to fall again. And QueenE just showing us a very nice game, but I have to say, what would happen if Weiman did not misclick those SCVs onto the Geyser?
Oh yeah. He could have had much more stuff. And also the way that he didn't... I think he lost because he didn't react to that transition into Colossus. He was just making more coasts, which are terrible, versus Colossi. And also his engagements were not really good. QueenE was getting multiple storms off every engagement, damaging all the bio, and like that's just too cost effective for the Terran to handle.
Yeah, I think so. Alright, so that was the last replay for today. Quite a lot of people watching, 41 people on the stream. Holy crap, I never had so many viewers apart from doing a tournament. Like, seriously. So thank you very much for tuning in. That's very lovely of you. Of course, if you want to know more about the channel, all you have to do is scroll down, read some piece of information excuse me, information from the stream description. We're casting Cast My Game most days of the week. Tomorrow I'm having a day off, so I'm sorry, no Cast My Game tomorrow. What's coming up on this channel in the coming days? Well, on Wednesday we'll be doing a Zoe UK Open with Maddles. Friday we're doing the Mythology UCAP Open with Vokter from UK. So if you want to be watching both of these tournaments, the first one is only for UK players. The second one is an open. Anyone can join. If you want more, just check out my social media. Either Facebook or Twitter /BelleNOiRtv. If you have more replays for us to cast, please send them to bellenoir@sysnum.cz with the title Cast My Game, including a short description. And then we have an action-packed weekend. Saturday I'll be casting the finals of the Czech StarCraft 2 Aver Media League with a lot of good players. It's going to be a full double elimination, best of 3. With 8 players, and it's going to take the whole afternoon, so if you want to tune in for that, please do so. I should be casting that one with Voktulka here, and yeah, definitely. And Sunday it's going to be the finals of Clan Base, which is a team league, StarCraft 2 team league in the Czech Republic. Apart from that, I think that's all regarding the schedule here for this week. So thank you very much for coming on the stream, Voktulka, and I'm already looking forward to the cast on Saturday, because I have to say it's been a pleasure working with you. I think it went quite well, and I'm going to ask the audience, guys in the chat, what do you think? Do we make a good casting duo? Was it listenable to? Did you have a good time?
I hope it was.
Yeah, we're gonna wait for a couple of responses here. So apart from you casting with me on Saturday, what are your immediate plans, sir?
Oh, immediate plans. I think besides the ladder, there's nothing much that I have planned yet. But I'm gonna be going hopefully to the Insomnia LAN in August, to the Great Britain, which will be awesome, I hope. And besides that, no concrete plans yet.
All right. Is there anything any website or something where people might find you apart from just googling Voktulka?
Well, if they Google me, they can find my Twitter at Voktulka, but I'm not really using it just yet, but I might start.
Okay. So guys, if you like Voktulka's casting, he's also a high-ranking master level Protoss player. A very good one actually, although he needs to get back in shape because he hasn't played for the past 3 weeks all that much. But I'm confident in his ability to get back to the heights of his skill that he used to show us the previous year. So if you want to find out more about him, you can follow him at Twitter at Voktulka. Thanks very much to my moderator Avi and a very sweet girl for already finding Voktulka's Twitter and posting it into the chat. So that's going to be it for today. Thank you very much for watching. I've been BelleNOiR. With me was Voktulka today. We're looking forward for another cast. Until that time, you guys just stay safe. Good luck, have fun, and remember to storm first and ask questions later.